Everyone,
Hey
how are you?
everyone. It's always a bit weird talking to a like darkened room. There's no lights on.
All right, everyone's on, so let's
Awesome.
go.
Cool beans. Hi everyone. I'm Richard. I'm head of product here at BugHerd, and I'm joined by Steve, our CEO, for a bit of a recap and product demonstration on things that we've been working on this year. This is a new concept for us. We haven't really done these before, so looking forward to sharing all the hard work we've been doing. The idea is basically to run through a few of the new things that you may or may not have seen in the product, just give you a bit of a overview on those, and then allow time towards the end of the session to talk about some of the things we've got in mind for 2026. We're just going through our roadmap planning at the moment on that. And then open it up to some questions if you have them to answer as best we can. With a few things before we get started in terms of questions, please put them in the Q&A. Should be open. Steve will be keeping an eye on that. And also, we'd love to hear from you in the chat, as in where you are, who you are, just to sort of get the ball rolling there. So please add some comments into the chat. Steve will also be monitoring there as we go, as I'm showcasing some of the things that we've been doing. If you've got any specific questions on that, feel free to chime in the chat, and Steve will interrupt. Uh,
Also,
Steve, anything to
just
add?
well, hi from Melbourne, Australia. I wrote that in chat. It'd be great if in the chat if you could let us know, as Richard said, kind of where you are, type of organization you are, so we can kind of try and answer some questions specifically. Also, if you're brave, feel free to raise your hand. We can let you into the webinar and have the kind of conversation about your question then as well. So you have either of those or all of those options available. So yeah, core questions in the Q&A, chat in the chat, and then if you want to join us for a quick discussion about your questions, then feel free to raise your hand and we'll let you in. Awesome.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get into it. Okay, let me share my screen. Steve, is that looking good?
Can
See
see.
the screen? Beautiful. Okay, so to kick things off, I'd like to start with our latest feature that is currently in beta, which some of you may have had a play around with or not. It's our AI titles and tags. So this is our sort of first venture into the AI space. We're really keen not to AI wash the product, as was sort of the temptation early in the hype cycle. So we're really focused on things that add a clear benefit or make the efficiency of managing your project a lot easier. So with AI titles, I've got just an example project I've set up here on the Anthropic site. How it works, well, first and foremost, if you jump into the BugHerd AI tab here, you can opt into the beta. You can also opt out if you have a play with it and then don't want to turn it on. So it's really no fuss way to explore it. There's a few different things that we've got available here. Auto tagging, auto titles. This finding similar or duplicate tasks is actually something we're working on right now. So ignore that. You do not have access to that just yet. It's a work in progress, but it's coming and it's going to be great. So first thing is to just come in, opt into the beta and turn on these options. What that'll allow for you then is when you're creating some feedback, if I go here and just drop a pin here. Now, if I'm creating some feedback, if it's a long piece of feedback, so anything over 10 words, it's going to generate me a AI title to really summarize that more succinctly. So let's just make something up. Uh, let's copy to be a bit more succinct. Uh, Less details about our research. I'm just trying to make it long here and more about the research itself. Okay. So I can then go ahead and create the task there. My internet is being a bit slow today. And then if I create that, we can see it's just generated a suggested copy, suggested title here. And that's just going to appear with this sort of purpley blue sort of look. So you know it's not been written by somebody, it's actually just been suggested by the AI. The real benefit here is when I look across into the taskboard, you see how much more simplified the task card is when you're viewing in the Kanban board, and you can see instead of like having maybe two or three, maybe four key tasks showing up because they got long descriptions, we can fit much more into the board, which is great. Clicking on that, I can see the description. If I like it, I can just tab to accept, or I can edit it, and it'll change its color there. But it's really easy at a glance to see what the AI suggestions are. We can also see, if I click on some of these, titles have been suggested as well. Sorry, tags have been suggested as well. So the AI is going to basically look at the description and the element that's been selected and try and estimate a tag that is relevant to this piece of feedback. Now, where that's really useful is when you've got clients giving feedback, they don't have the option to add tags. You sort of don't want them to because you want to keep it organized in your own way. So instead of you having to triage all that feedback and add tags yourself to organize things, the AI will take care of that for you. You can still add other tags and remove suggested tags if you want to. That's totally up to you. And importantly, you can also, as a setting, choose to only let the AI use tags that you've already got. So if you've got a particular set of tags that you like to use in your projects, then the AI will try and use those as a suggestion. Oh, a little love heart. I love the
Just
reactions.
quick add to a couple of those things. So on the titles, it was very important. We've stayed away from titles for a very long time, and people would ask, but we were always very keen on simplifying what the client has to do. So instead of having to ask them to kind of give you feedback and then also name that as a title, so now the client's not asked to enter the title, that they don't see that. They just enter the task as Richard showed, or enter the feedback, and then we will create the title from that, which you can accept or change. But we really wanted to keep that client experience as simple as possible. Click a thing, enter what you want changed, and request the change. So that's kind of the main one for that. And Rich, while we're here, there is the first question to the product manager, very directly around exactly this, which is, do you have a general estimation of when find if duplicates exist functionality will be available? These
Yeah.
questions make product managers squirm, everybody. So
Ugh. No, it's work in progress right now. I actually was I put the team on the spot yesterday and said I'd really love to show what we've got for similar tasks. And I should say similar tasks instead of duplicate tasks. It's a bit of a misnomer to say just duplicates because we started off looking to just identify duplicate tasks. And we found the AI was actually really good at identifying tasks that were not just duplicates, but similar. So in the sense that you would maybe assign all those tasks to the same person. To begin with, we were just going to show which ones were similar, but currently we're working on concepting out actually then what actions you would want to take on those. So we're really interested in your feedback. There is actually a survey in the app at the moment on um, what actions you would want to perform on duplicate or similar tasks. Things we're thinking off the top of our heads are obviously merging a task into the other tasks, or assigning the same person who is on those other tasks, or linking them in some way, or just deleting and archiving. So that's something we're focused on at the moment. Don't have a specific time frame right now because we're sort of as we started doing it, we're adding stuff to it because we're realizing, oh, it'd be cool if we could do X, Y, and Z. But it's going to be, the first quarter of next year, early next year, that we'll have that sort of fully fleshed out and out in the world. But yeah, that's a really exciting one that we're pretty happy to be getting into the product because it's something that the the core thing to try and stop duplicate and similar sort of feedback happening is the pin being on the page. But this is sort of the next level of that, which we're really keen to do. So sorry, I don't have an exact time frame, but think early next year for that one. And if you're interested, put your put your email or whatever, or contact us. Sorry, contact us through the support chat, and we'll add you into the beta when we've got something that we can share.
Answered like a professional product manager right there.
No commitments, just vagary. I should be a
Sometime in
politician.
the future soon.
No,
Uh,
but it's being worked on right now. That's our main focus at the moment. So that's what's exciting about it.
so just a little quick follow on from Tristan here in the chat, which is love the AI tag suggestions often used to tags to tie feedback to specific components, but our clients might not know the name of the component. Does the AI just look at the description of any other task details as well, which is fundamentally what it's doing, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's not using any of the other information. So if the client doesn't know, what components you're talking about, it's going to be pretty tricky to assign. Um, However, that's where similar task stuff might actually be useful as well. If you're finding, this bit of feedback on the nav, and there's five other things about the nav, maybe an action that you would want to do is tag all of those as related. But yeah, no, it's not. It's a bit tricky in that sense for those sort of things. It's really good at things that you can pick up in common language, right? So if it's things like content, design, layout, fonts, those sort of things, if they're your tag system, then it sort of works pretty well for that. But if it's really bespoke to you, I mean, give it a try. You can add whatever tags you use and then see how the AI responds to that. Yeah,
Excellent.
cool. So that's the sort of latest and greatest in terms of the AI beta. The next thing I'd like to touch on is feedback deadlines. So this is sort of leading in a direction that of something we want to tackle a bit more next year. We're just in the process of our roadmap planning at the moment, but feedback deadlines is something we've introduced. You can see this at the top of the board here. This is a really neat feature. We all know particularly when you're working with clients, getting late or overdue feedback is the thing that really slows a project down. So this is really designed about allowing you to turn off the ability for clients to create more feedback. So you can toggle this off to disable feedback immediately, or you can schedule it to happen at a later date. Now, when that's disabled, if I jump across to this is an example of a client session. Let me refresh. Oh, hang on a sec. Always forget. Save. Now, if I refresh, we'll see that now the sidebar still appears. I can still see all the pins and interact with the feedback, but I'm not able to create any new feedback on this project. And so that's really handy. Previously, you had to sort of disable BugHerd, disable the project entirely almost. So this is handy. You can still keep working. Clients can still come in and approve things and stuff like that. But they just can't keep adding to the pile, which is great. As I said, you can schedule a time for that. That'll just mean that those buttons disable on that date or time. And then, yeah, that's a really neat little feature that we have got some great feedback about.
Did we say, Rich, quickly, the idea there is we're moving towards rounds?
Yes, yeah. So the sort of focus of next year from a broad feature point of view, we're really keen on concepting out some stuff on this rounds of review and approvals cycles. So this is sort of a first step in that direction. But there'll be more to come. And if anyone, again, if anyone has sort of ideas, thoughts, feedback on how review cycles work for you, what you'd like to see from like approvals, reviews, things like that, key features, please get in touch on the in-app chat. We're always keen to hear that feedback, and it really sort of helps us for when we come to the executing on those projects and doing sort of the UX research and stuff like that, to have a list of people who we can reach out to and talk to about that. Okay. Another feature that we've released, which I love, is just going to move you out of the way, Steve. Is the project defaults or project templates. So, not sure how many of you would have discovered this because it's sort of hidden away in the organization settings, but you can get to this if you click on your organization name, just click on settings. That'll bring you to this screen, and click on the project defaults tab here. What this allows you to do is pre-configure how projects should be set up in terms of the columns, in terms of the client permissions, and in terms of a default set of tags. So this will mean the next after you set these up, the next project you create will have these settings pre-configured. A thing that we are also looking to add to this as well is pre-configuring particular team members to be on the project as well. So this has been a long requested feature, particularly around tags and columns. So not having to reset up all your columns every time you create a project, and being able to have really consistent tag names across each of the projects too. As sort of going on from that in terms of tags, there is another feature, if I jump in here, that is often also missed as well in terms of tag settings, and that is preventing users from creating new tags when they're creating a task. So if you have a particular set of tags that you want to use and not have like misspelled, someone wrote content and someone wrote content with a two E's or something like that, and ending up with this long list of tags on your project, you can enable this here, and it'll still allow people to add tags as they're creating feedback, but it just won't let them create new unique tags. So often missed, but really powerful little feature there, hidden away in the tag settings. Gotta love settings hidden away in settings, but thought it was a good time to call that out.
It might be worth also just calling out the release notes stuff. So where you can see, because we had a question about kind of sharing some of this stuff, and so you may not be aware, but you can see any of our releases through that little gift button there.
Yeah, so up in the top right here, this will just list out our latest releases. They should pop up when we actually publish them, but if you dismiss it because you're in the middle of something and don't want it to get in the way, you can always come back to them. This will list out details on all of our things that we've released in the past. You can also find them at updates.bugherd.com, which would be just a long list of all the same stuff if you're interested.
Yeah, and it's a challenge. I'd suggest do look at that occasionally, because it is a challenging one to kind of keep people abreast of all of the stuff, because everyone is busy and you tend to get into a kind of way of working in the product. And so it's us doing this is one way we want to get people to kind of understand the things that we're putting out there, but also encourage you to kind of keep an eye on that, the BugHerd updates as well.
Absolutely. Okay. Next on my list, I wanted to talk a little bit about client collaboration. So there's sort of two key aspects that if you've been with BugHerd for a long time, you may or may not have noticed. But maybe late last year or early this year, we implemented a new way of sharing with your clients. So you can always in BugHerd, you've been able to invite members and clients via email, and they would get an email to accept an invite and sort of create their account. We released a no login experience for clients, which is now our recommended and preferred way of sharing with clients. So uh, in order for clients to reduce the complexity for clients, we've introduced this share functionality. So any website or design, I don't have any listed here, that you want to share with a client, you can just hit this share button. It'll give you a unique link to share with that client. You can copy that and share that through Slack, Teams, email, chat, whatever you like. And when the client clicks on that that link, uh, they'll automatically be redirected through to the website that you've got. So let me just, for example, here, I could just paste this in here. So that's going to validate them with some magic behind the scenes, so that behind the scenes, we sort of create an account under the hood for them. But from their experience, it just links straight through to the website and shows them the sidebar. Now, because I've done that before, it's just gone straight to the sidebar. But if it was my first time, I'd get a little prompt about how to create feedback. The first time they create feedback, we're going to ask them for just a name and email. So we know who they are as they're creating their first piece of feedback. And then beyond that, they're off to the races. So that's a super smooth way to share your projects with your client. A secondary part, sorry, go Steve.
I just we have a question from Laura about that. So about the files and file upload and stuff. So when do you want to keep going for a second? I'll come back to it, or now is the right?
No, go for it, go for it.
Yeah, so Laura has asked, so two things would be extremely helpful within that kind of files component is the ability to choose the order of the files as they're uploaded into sections. So, imagining, okay,
Okay.
I've got like 10 things. I want to make sure that this is the first one they say, this is the second one, because that's the order of which the client should experience it. And then the ability to bulk archive files.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Oh, let's can you note that down, mate? If you got
Can?
it. There you go. Or Marina, if you got a moment. But yeah, that's really good feedback. Not something we'd thought about, to be honest, but very, very good feedback. And again, anything like that, if you have those sort of ideas that come through, please put them in the like just chat with us, send them through. Our support person, Christine, always makes sure the whole team becomes aware of them. We've got a customer feedback channel that we maintain. Everything is read and noticed and captured. And so great feedback like that's really good. So that simple share link experience is really sort of the biggest change we've had in BugHerd in quite some time. I hope everybody's sort of trying it out and using it, because it is definitely a better experience for your client. The other side of the coin there is if you're on our premium plan or above, we have some other client collaboration features, which is sort of the first step in the direction of giving the client, or we like to think of it as a key client. So often there'll be a client who you deal with the most, who is running the project on their side of the fence. And for them, having visibility of the feedback they've created and where it is in the process, and maybe also is, approving when things are done, is really an important part of the job. For those clients, when they first give feedback, behind the scenes, we flick them a simple welcome email, which will give them a link to their own project board. So they can click through this, or they can actually just click on the logo in the BugHerd sidebar, and that's going to take them to what we call their sort of client project board. This is fairly basic at the moment. This is definitely an area of interest for us in terms of the rounds of review and cycles and things like that, that we're going to be evolving. But for them, it gives them an overview of any websites or files that you've shared with them. It also gives them a cut down view of the task board, where they can see all of their feedback or feedback from other client users if you've got that enabled in the permissions. And you can set this up in a way that, so for here, I've got a ready for review column. This is how we'd recommend you manage sort of approvals at the moment within BugHerd. So if you jump back into, this is me as a project manager, let's say, like, I don't know which ones are actually the client feedback here. I'm just going to move a few across. What was this one? Left align body paragraphs. Let's move that one across as well. So let's say that we've done that work. It's been moved into ready for review. So the client can come in here. You can just say, hey, we've got a couple of things for you to review. Just jump into your column, into your project board. They can see the feedback here, and they can click through to view it on the website, or they can simply say, yep, mark that as done, or they can drag and drop. So that's a really efficient way for you to already start to speed up the review cycle with your clients. So yeah, that's often a sort of underutilized or not because it's quite a new feature, like not really recognized as a lot of people as being an offering. So I wanted to call that one out as well.
And just quickly, this was a thing that was asked for a very, very long time as well. One of the, the main point behind this is just making sure that, the more the client, and not everybody wants to provide this level of visibility to them, but for those who do, the more the client can see in that process, the less questions they ask in a way. And so that's really kind of what it comes down to, in the sense that if they can see the progress of that work, the things that they've created, the things that other clients have created, then there's less back and forth with you, and that's the main thing. They know that it's being worked on. They can see where it is in the process.
Yeah, correct. And from a configurability point of view, if you jump into your settings and go client permissions, there's a few aspects of this client collaboration that you can sort of enable or disable. So obviously allowing clients to see just their tasks or any tasks from clients. We'll skip over the view git commit comment one because
That's not going to be there anymore.
it's going to be removed. That's developers getting a bit overzealous with toggles and settings. But like allowing this clients to change the status of the task like I did just then. So some people don't want the client to be able to move things through the board like I did then. I think it's really useful because you can allow them to sign things off, but that's up to you. There's also the ability to allow clients to be assigned to tasks. So another great way, in combination with that sort of ready for review column, if you imagine, maybe I take one of these, let's make it visible to clients, and then I might assign the client to it and say, okay, that one's ready for review. So then they're going to get an email notification saying, hey, you've been assigned to this task and the status of it is ready to review. So that's, again, trying to speed up that efficiency of managing that review cycle. So lots of options in that respect. In terms of features, though, that's sort of the main things I wanted to call out in this session. I'm conscious of the time, so moving on to really what we're working on at the moment. So I've talked about similar tasks. That's absolutely a key focus right now of getting that out the door. And please, if you're interested in being part of our user research on that, hit us up in the chat. That would be great.
There's an associated kind of question here from
Oh, yeah.
Dave around, so I guess maybe touch on it again, but like managing content across a huge site, many, many clients. One of the roadblocks for accepting feedback via BugHerd is that an individual task per kind of comment makes the board unmanageable. So like to be great to be able to kind of move larger, into a holistic task. So, here is the core, like Epic, I guess, is the Jira version of it. And, here are like sub tasks. Is that a thing at all?
We don't have plans at the moment to create like a concept of subtasks. Just being purely honest, from the back end point of view of BugHerd, it will require a lot of engineering. But again, as part of the similar task stuff, we are really looking at how you merge tasks. So if they're all sort of related to the same thing, can you merge them all in together and clean up the board in that way, and also have the same person assigned to it and things like that. But if you're talking about subtasks, No, that's not something we've got on the immediate sort of radar.
So yeah, Dave, I'm not sure if that answered your question. Feel free to let us know in the chat or give us further clarification. And then there's no question from Edo, but I'll come to that when we get there into Q&A.
From what, sorry?
There's another question from Edo, but I'll come to that when we get into Q&A.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I've talked about similar tasks. That's really focused at the moment. Another thing that we will be moving to after that is also a BugHerd MCP. So sort of rounding out some of the key AI features that we want to add. So for those of you that don't know what an MCP is, it's really sort of a way of allowing BugHerd to interface with your LLMs, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude Code or Cursor or things like that. So key use cases we're focused on around that is the sort of primary two ones are from a developer point of view, being able to feed context into your Claude Code or Cursor or whatever development LLM you're using to help from an agentic coding point of view. Maybe you're able to assign the agents to fix certain bugs, things like that. So basically synchronizing all that information into the LLMs in a nice way that they can use. The other side of the other use case really is around project management and really generating summaries or updates for your clients around like the things that have been done, for example, or what are the things that need my attention, all that sort of thing. So basically allowing you to interface BugHerd into your LLMs and sort of get some efficiency out of that side of things. So that's something we're pretty excited about, particularly around the agentic, like being able to solve issues.
Yeah, very basic language. I'm a project manager. I can just go and say, hey, can you write me an update to send to my client for this project? Progress made on this project this week, and it will go and get all of the information from BugHerd as to the progress of that. Write you, in the way LLMs can, write you the update, and then make that fairly easy for you to kind of send on to a client. So again, it's shortening that the workflow for the project manager.
Yeah, so all you need to do is remove all the EM dashes out of
Yeah,
the
the
email
double
that it's
dashes
written.
and
Yeah.
the
So they're sort of the two things that we're focused on at the moment, outside of the day-to-day stuff we've been doing. In terms of roadmap planning, we're currently planning for 2026 at the moment. A few things are on our radar coming out of the like product market fit survey that we put out every quarter or every half year, I think it is. Search and filtering is something that's on our radar as wanting to improve. It's been, you know, pretty average for some time, and we're sort of getting to a point where we've ticked off a lot of the other boxes that we've wanted to with the interface. Search is definitely something that we want to tackle. Another thing that I'm sure most people will love is text formatting within descriptions and comments. So being able to bold, underline, bullet points, mark down links, things like that. It seems basic, but we're going to get there. So that's a very long awaited feature that we're definitely going to try and tackle. I've talked about rounds of review as well. That's sort of the biggest step forward for the product that in terms of a theme of work that we're looking at, and we're really excited to tackle that. And then finally, we've made some improvements you may have noticed over the previous sort of 3 or 4 months around integrations, particularly around Jira. So with our Jira integration, now we've got this nicely unfurled, formatted information that gets sent through, and it is just far more synchronized, much faster, things like that. So we're also focused on improvements on the rest of our integrations as well. So that will be a theme that we'll tackle over the year too. So nothing's super locked in, but just wanted to give some visibility on the things that we're thinking about for 2026. And yeah, that's basically all I've got to say. So keen to hear any questions that might be coming my way.
Yeah, great. So as I said to anybody, love this is your time to now. You have a direct line to the product manager. Sorry, this is the time to ask these. So please chuck any questions in the chat. Sorry, or in the Q&A. Any feedback on anything we've said, or even thoughts, feature suggestions. Also, we'd love to hear them. If you're brave, feel free to put your hand up, and we can let you into the conversation as well. So, as I said, now's the time to open it up to the floor. We have a couple of questions here. So one is from Ido. So when we're running concurrent projects with one project that involves a subset of URLs of another project, is it possible to select which project the issues are raised into? So project selection via the extension would be.
Yeah, so just I accidentally turned off my screen there. Sorry, guys. So there is some capacity to do that currently if you're using the browser extension. Now, we do recommend using the JavaScript for a smoother experience. When you're using the browser extension, though, it will allow you to choose which project you want to associate or give feedback on. So that's one way of doing it. But definitely, yes, that we have had that feedback of having the ability when creating feedback to choose which project to send that feedback to. So that's something that's on our radar for sure. It's not uncommon feedback, but we haven't actually got anything at the moment to execute on that.
Yeah, I mean, this will do most of it. Like at its most basic, if you have the different JavaScript on the different pages, it will automatically send to whatever project. And then, as Richard just shows, maybe show it on the website rather than on BugHerd. I always find that confusing.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing, but like from our point of view, we use BugHerd on BugHerd.
Yeah.
So we'll have like a QA project for, we go post onboarding help prompts.
Yeah.
And so by doing that, it refreshes and loads, and I can use BugHerd here to create some feedback to go into that
Yeah.
project. So that's the basic experience of sort of what you're talking about there. Yeah.
All right. And then Laura's chucked a couple in. The first one, Laura, it's more of a support thing. I think we'll pick up this, but I've had some issues with public feedback. Seems to work on some browsers and not others. They have the snippet installed and it works, some browsers and phones, but not on others. Any thoughts?
Yeah, let's take that one offline. Laura, if you could
Oh,
contact us just with the chat there, then we can create a sort of support issue around that. It definitely shouldn't be the case. It should work fine across all browsers. So there's something buggy going on there for you.
yeah. I mean, there are things like extensions that the person can have installed that will interface, but we'll happily work with those, and yeah, kind of try and come to find a solution. So Laura has another question. Can we have BugHerd send us a webhook for guest comments, just like we already do for member comments?
Oh,
I'm surprised that that doesn't happen. So
yeah.
take that one away as well. I will note that down.
That's Yeah, that's interesting. That might be an oversight or something, or maybe we've broken something when we were as we've been developing things.
Yeah.
But I would have thought any feedback should be going to the
Yeah.
webhook when it gets created.
Yeah.
I'm not
So we'll
sure if
definitely.
that's a recent thing, but we have over the last month or two been making some updates to our webhooks. So we may have inadvertently broken something.
Okay. So Laura, we'll get back to you on that one. As said, if you just respond with the other one to support, we can answer that one for you as well. And so from Tom, is your product roadmap available publicly first?
No. We don't have a public roadmap, unfortunately, Tom. The reason for that is uh, flexibility from our point of view. So sometimes we'll get into exploring something and then we'll realize, oh, it's a much bigger thing and we want to do X, Y, and Z, or we'll get some feedback coming in through our product market fit survey that might actually need to divert our attention. So, we might have changed something or we might need to evolve a feature we've done previously. So rather than setting out, these are the we're going to have this in Q1, this in Q2, this in Q3, this in Q4. As a small team, we find that is not particularly, like, you might be waiting for something for Q4 next year and it actually ends up keeping getting bumped out because other things happen. So because we're not a massive team, it's very difficult for us to lock in things beyond the sort of 3 to 6 month time frame.
Tom has a follow-up part of that question. So if not, what is the timeline for BugHerd column to Jira status integration? So we're saying we had to offload all Kanban work to Jira to prevent managing both BugHerd and Jira boards.
Yeah, great one. So that's definitely like something we want to add to Jira next year. I don't know what part of the year that is, but there's that. There was also some other little things like labels, label support in Jira and things like that, and also possibly assigning, mapping assignments so you can mention people or assign people in either platform and it'll sort of synchronize across. So they're the things we've got in mind for Jira too. Stay tuned for next year. But yeah, don't have a particular date or whatever. But sorry, another thing
I would just add, as CEO here, it is important to us, and
yeah, absolutely.
And my job is also, because that is one that does come up a bit, and so certainly something that is of priority.
Yeah, a little bit of background as well. In the recent changes we've made to the Jira integration, we were previously using a third party to deliver that integration. And the changes we made a couple of months ago was to bring it all in-house. So we now have much more control over what we can do with the Jira integration. So definitely stay tuned on that one.
All right. Well, I think that's it for questions. There's last chance. Anybody? If not, we can wrap it up and say thank you everybody for joining us. You will get a survey when you leave this or when we shut down that asks for feedback on this session. So this is the first time we've done this. We're very keen to hear whether it's useful. We can do it this way, which is webinar style. We could do it also as a kind of meeting style where everyone's in and we can have conversation. Very keen to kind of evolve this. If you find it useful, we might do it quarterly. So please let us know in that survey as well. But other than that, thank you very much. Enjoy, for most of you, your evenings, I imagine. And for me or for us, and there was definitely someone from Australia here I saw. Who'd we get? Someone was in Brisbane. Oh yeah, Dave. Dave's in Brisbane. For us, we're going to get on with our day. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Till next time.
Bye.